Welcome back to another edition of This Week in CAA Football. I'm Bobby Broyles, joined by Tim McDonald. Week 5 of the season is now a wrap, and Tim, when we look back at our 3 league matchups this past week, you can tell we've reached conference play given all the excitement from 2 come-from-behind wins and a third that was a back-and-forth battle throughout.
Bobby, the government might be shut down, but you can always count on us to be right here.
Isn't that the truth?
If you look at those games, I think big plays from last week, that was the key. Maine goes to Richmond, gets a nice win. Arthur Williams, a 48-yard touchdown late. Nigel Jones has 3 touchdowns. Maine made the plays when it happened. Delaware, huge third quarter versus JMU. They win at home, pull one out. It looked like JMU was going to take that game. Delaware makes some plays in the passing game, and the third quarter takes over. Then you look at Towson. Sloppy first half, come out, find the rhythm on the ground game, get the job done. Big plays in big spots. That's what's going to get it done in CAA play.
Well, we should be in store for another fun weekend as the calendar now turns to October. We begin in Towson as the Tigers finally return home to take on New Hampshire, a team looking to bounce back after a tough loss at Lehigh. The Tigers and Wildcats will kick off at noon on Comcast Sportsnet.
And if I'm New Hampshire, I'm finding out what Terrence West is doing before these games. The last 2 years, he's been an absolute beast. I don't know if he's drinking special water, getting a massage. He's doing something, Bobby. The last 2 years, 2 years ago, 261 yards rushing, 4 touchdowns. Last year, 236 yards rushing, 2 touchdowns. I don't know what else you're going to do if you're New Hampshire. You have to stop him. Make Peter Athens throw the ball to the quarterback. He threw 2 picks last week, and that's how Stony Brook jumped out to a lead versus Towson. New Hampshire, lose to Lehigh last week, had a chance to tie it up late, couldn't finish it. Another opportunity for them where they got out big and couldn't close the deal, couldn't secure the win. How does New Hampshire bounce back? Towson hasn't been home for a while. It's going to be a great atmosphere there.
Shortly after Villanova welcomes William and Mary to the main line at 1:30, the upstart Tribe come into this one fresh following its open week, while the Wildcats have hit their stride after now winning 2 straight.
How about William and Mary? They get a chance to sit home, watch Villanova, take in what's going to happen against this team. John Robertson, the quarterback last week, he's led them to 2 victories, and it's been through the ground. He's rushed over 100 yards twice now. Jerome Copeland, Luke Rhodes, the defenders, the leaders on that William & Mary defense. Watch for them, because really, they're going to be keying on John Robertson. I'd be careful about John Robertson. This defense is very good, hasn't allowed a touchdown in 2 games. William & Mary's defense versus John Robertson, it sounds corny, but that's going to be the key.
A third afternoon showdown features UAlbany traveling to Harrisonburg to take on James Madison, with both teams looking to rebound after tough losses on the road last week.
And we mentioned JMU really let one slip last week in the second half. That third quarter, it was just the offense was not working. Nothing was working. Daquan Scott, got a blocked punt. Daquan Scott, the running back, first time all season he was held to under 100 yards rushing last week. This will be the key this week against Albany. Get him going, get him on the ground game. Michael Birdsong, the quarterback, get him some nice easy throws. He played well in the first half for Delaware last week. Couldn't find the confidence in the second half. JMU needs to bounce back. Albany, what else can you say? They need this win. Going back to Virginia for the second straight week, it's going to be a tough one.
Following our 3 matinees, we've got a great midday matchup in Orono as Maine returns to Alphons Stadium to host Delaware at 3:30. Both teams enter this one with 4-1 records, Tim.
4-1, and I think both teams a bit of a surprise this early. It's a nice conference game in Orono, Bobby. Alphons Stadium, what else can you say? We got some CAA people going there.
Oh, yeah.
Trent Hurley, the quarterback for Delaware. He's going to be the key. I think Maine's going to focus in on that, make him try to beat him with his arm. Last week, he struggled in the first half, came alive, found Boyle, his tight end, for 2 touchdowns. How about Maine? Keep an eye on this. Pass efficiency defense, they're #1 in the CAA. Quarterbacks are throwing under 50%. That's the key. Make him beat him with their arm. Look for Andrew Pierce in this Delaware running game. If the pass game isn't working, they're going to go to them.
A pair of non-conference contests concludes Week 6 action, which we'll break down as we reach our quick hits segment. Let's begin with Stony Brook playing host to Bryant at 6 o'clock.
How about the Seawolves? Lyle Negron, the quarterback, played well last week. They couldn't finish the deal. It was a 35-21 win for Towson. It was actually 28-21 at the end. Towson scored a touchdown late. It was a lot closer than it looked.
Yes.
Stony Brook, you have to bounce back here at home against Bryant. Bryant's good offensively, but I think matchup-wise, they fit up well for Stony Brook.
That Lyle Negron and Malcolm Eugene combination has proved to be very good.
Need to hook up more.
Also kicking at 6 will be Rhode Island, which will travel to nearby Brown after picking up an impressive win over Central Connecticut State this past week. This will also be a notable game for the Rams, who will play their 1,000th game in program history when they meet the Bears this weekend.
Talk about pride. The Fighting Joe Trainers get a nice win. They needed a blowout win like that. 42-7 against Central Connecticut State. Even more impressive, the defense comes up, forces 6 turnovers. Browns team, this is a rivalry game. This is a nice little rivalry game. You know, Rhode Island's a small state, but this means a lot to a lot of people. Phil Estes, the Brown coach, he's a good coach. They're going to come out fighting. This should be another classic. I think Rhode Island, What do you say after that offensive breakout? Just do it. See what happens. Do it again this week.
Tim, this will be the 98th meeting between Brown and Rhode Island this Saturday. Remember, you can follow all of our Week 6 action with the help of our game day page on CAAfootball.com, featuring links to live stats and audio and video streaming for all 6 league games. And be sure to check in with us on Sunday when we release our weekend rundown.
We'll be out in force in social media, Bobby, once again this week. You can follow us on Twitter at CAA Football. Join the official conversation using the hashtag CAAFB. Follow us on Facebook.com/CAA Football, and of course on Instagram and Vine by searching CAA Football.
Our on-campus coverage continues as well. Last week, CAA Football made the trip to Newark for the Delaware's conference opener against JMU. If you haven't checked out our Going Deep feature video on Blue Hens tight end Ryan Cobb, one of 22 members on the AFCA's Good Works team, it's now live on CAA.tv and CAAfootball.wordpress.com, along with interviews, highlights, a campus tour, and even some Hens tailgate action. We'll be back on campus again this weekend when Alex Souza and Zach Burrs visit Orono for the battle between the 4-1 Black Bears and Blue Hens. Stay tuned to our official Every Day is Saturday blog for all of our on-campus coverage coming out of our trip to Maine. Well, that'll do it for us this week. For Tim McDonald, I'm Bobby Broyles. We'll be right back here next Wednesday. Thanks for tuning in, everyone.